Have we got Councillor Badachi? Oops. Can't see it. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Shire of 2J Ordinary Council meeting of the 7th of May 2026, and I declare the meeting open at 5:33 p.m. And as I do so, I acknowledge the Belladon Noongar people, the traditional owners of the land where we meet today, and the Wadjuk and Eward people, traditional owners of other lands within the Shire of 2J. At the moment in the chambers we have Councillor Prater, Councillor Mills, Councillor McCormick, Councillor Duval, Councillor van der Hayden and Councillor McEwen. And I think we have Councillor Madachi online. Councillor Madachi, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Could you turn your camera on, please?
It should be on. I don't know why it's off.
Have you had any luck, Councillor Madachi?
No, I haven't. I don't know why it's off because it was switched on when I entered the Teams. I'm just having a...
Councillor Madachi, it's Alan here. Is the slide over the camera on?
Double check it, but I think so. Did that make any difference?
No.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Thanks, Councillor.
Okay. Thank you.
Could those officers please stop talking? Ladies, please stop talking. Councillor, do you have a declaration to make? Councillor Madachi?
Yes, I do. My declaration is I disclose under the provisions of Regulation 14CA of the Local Government Administration Regulations of 1996 that I can maintain confidentiality during the meeting or any closed part of the meeting, if required, in accordance with Regulation 14CA5.
Thanks, Councillor. We have no apologies. All councillors are present. We have any disclosures of interest at the moment? Councillor Duval.
It is item... I handed in the paperwork last week. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Got it. Thanks. Item 10.1.5, a family member is an employee of the applicant, and I'm friends with, actually that's in the running sheet wrong. A family member is an employee of the applicant, and I'm friends with 2 of the directors of the company.
Sorry, what item was that?
10.1.5.
Thank you.
Extractive industries.
Okay. Are there any other? Councillor Prater?
Yes, I also have one on 10.1.5, impartiality, family, friend, so here we are, yeah. Friends with the employee of the applicant.
Thanks, councillor. So the first item on the agenda following those is public question time, and I think Mr Lamass had some questions registered. So Mr Lamass, having registered questions, will get first opportunity. So do you have your first 2 questions, Mr Lamass?
Aldo Lamas, ratepayer and resident of the Shire. Question number 1. Can the Shire explain why the content manager role was required, including what specific needed address and what alternatives were considered? Who approved the decision and what measurable outcomes or value to the ratepayers have received in return for the $90,460 spent in November 2025.
It's on screen. Content manager is not a role, but it's the Shire's document management system. It's our record system. So the payment referenced in question 1 includes the 3rd and final implementation milestone payment and staff training, and the original contract was entered into by the previous management in 2024.
Thank you.
Second question, Mr Lamass?
Question number 2. Can you explain why 2 different sections of Bindi Bindi Road has been resealed again? One section is less than a year old, and the other was completed, I believe, part of the 23-24 budget. The section from the cemetery to the stairs, Lee Stairs, was in excellent condition with no visible defects, and seal of this type normally has expected service life of 10 to 15 years before the renewal or the resealing is required. Could you also confirm who made the decision to carry out these works and who approved them, as they don't appear to be included in the financial year capital work programs, and we have several other roads in far greater need of sealing?
Through the Chair, this is the second seal that's part of the general construction works, and it was planned to do it 12 months, approximately 12 months after construction.
In the question that I submitted in December, I believe when they did the sealing, the executive manager mentioned that it was used a primer seal, a 5 mil chip seal, followed by 2 coat seals. So that means that has three coat seal the road. It's not the second coat of the road.
Yeah, we're not here for a debate, Mr Lamass.
But I need an answer because it's money that it's ratepayers' money, and we need an answer why it's having resealed if it already got 3 codes. And if you check in the list of payment from the previous sealing, it specified 2 codes that was already applied, which I believe it was by Colas, and the chip seal, the primer seal that was used to hold the pavement, it was owned by a company in Geraldton, Safe Roads WA. So we got a primer, we got a chip seal code, and then we got 2 coats of seal, which is enough for a expected service life of 10 to 15 years. So this is not the second seal code. This one will be the 4th code.
Okay,
that is
good.
going.
Given the detail in your question, I think we'll have to take that on notice.
Yeah, no worries, thank you.
Okay. So, I'll just remind people that public question time opens at 5:37. Does anybody else wish to ask some questions? 2 at a time. Thank you. Could you I'm sorry, Mr Lamass, you should have told me whether you're a resident ratepayer or... And you did that, thank you. And so could you just tell us if your name and you're a resident ratepayer or elector?
Alan Henshaw, 27 Tujo Street, ratepayer and resident of the Shire.
Thank you, Mr Henshaw.
The CEO, Mr Aaron Bowman, has been absent from duty for some time now. When will he be returning to duties as the CEO of the Shire of 2J?
Mr. Bowman is on leave, and I'm not going to discuss the personal affairs of any of the Shire employees.
Has the CEO resigned?
No. Anybody else have any questions? Mrs. Ruthven?
Beth Ruthven, ratepayer resident. This is regarding the special council meeting which was held last week. Resolution OCM 0540426 in item 10.4.4 should have failed because, as you pointed out, it needed an absolute majority. However, it is recorded in the minutes as motion carried 3-2. Are the minutes correct?
CEO, have you got an opinion? The CEO is responsible for minutes these days, so I'll ask him.
I'll need to take that on notice.
Okay, but the minutes are going to be adopted at this meeting.
It's due to be adopted, the minutes are due to be confirmed at this meeting today.
Okay.
So, does anybody else have a question? Ms. Prodovnik? And could you let us know whether you're a resident ratepayer or elector of the Shire?
Hello, can you hear me? Is that clear, everyone? Yes, I'm actually here today in my capacity as the editor of the 2J Herald.
Yes, but are you a resident ratepayer or
Yes.
elector of the
Yes,
Shire?
I'm a resident.
Thank you.
Oh, a ratepayer as well. Put me in every basket, please. All right, my first question is, who has made the rule that my media inquiries will not be answered by email, and that if I want questions answered for the 2J Herald, I need to come to a council meeting in person to ask them? Who is responsible for this new rule, and why was it made?
It's not a new rule. Procedures for question time with the public, they have changed. The procedure in use since last year, mid-last year, was for questions to be submitted at noon on the day of the council meeting, with those asking the questions required to attend the council meeting to ask them, as is provided by state government legislation, which mandates provisions for public questions at council meetings. The procedures, so that there is a provision in the legislation and the standing orders for questions at council meetings. There is no provision for a question at any other time.
I ask because, this is another question, I've been doing the role of the editor for the past 3 editions. This is my 4th edition. And every time I've put in media inquiries, they've been answered. This is the first time they haven't been answered as a media inquiry, and I'm asking why the change, and can I please have a bit more information about the rationale behind that?
I'm just applying the provisions of the legislation and the standing orders.
So is it safe to say that they were not being applied before, and if so, why?
Well, I don't know. I would have to look into that, what was happening before.
I think you were presiding before, so the question is directed to
Yeah,
you.
but I certainly, as presiding member, wasn't answering your questions. And I don't want to debate it.
That's fine. So my next question is, will this rule also apply to, say, Fairfax WA journalists, the ABC, 6PR, and media more broadly? Do they have to front up to council meetings to have their media inquiries answered?
If they wish to ask questions, they have to come to a council meeting.
Even if they're media inquiries?
If they wish to ask questions. I
In
don't
their
know what a media inquiry is. There's no provision in the legislation that deals with media inquiries.
Just so that we're clear, a media inquiry is sent by a media outlet to be published in media.
Okay. There is no obligation on a council meeting or for a shire to respond to a media inquiry. There is no legislative requirements requirement for that.
Do you think that that
No,
looks
that's
good?
that's the third question. You have 2 questions at a time.
Okay, do I have to sit down and then come
Yes.
back up for 2 more?
You have to sit
Okay.
down. Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
can come back.
Okay.
So is there anybody else wishes to ask a question? Mrs. Ruthven, do you have any further questions? Mr. Henshaw, do you have any further questions? Yeah, Mr. Lemass, sorry. Yeah, sure, next. Yeah.
Could you please, question 1, could you please provide information on when the executive manager of infrastructure position became vacant? In addition, could you please clarify who is currently acting in this role? Or alternatively, who has taken the responsibility for overseeing the roads and parks and gardens crew while the recruitment process is underway?
The Executive Manager, Infrastructure and Assets and Services is actually on annual leave at the moment, and relief arrangements are in place.
How someone can be on annual leave when there is a recruitment process for that position?
Can you please repeat that question?
How can be the person on leave when there is a advertised position for that role?
That officer has resigned.
Yeah.
The position has been advertised, but the individual is on annual leave.
And who is acting at the moment on that role?
Sorry, Mr. Lemass, it's simple. She resigned with notice and is working out her annual leave.
Yeah, that's
So
fine.
she's still employed by the
Yeah,
Shire.
no, I got it. But
Yeah.
who is acting on the role? I just want to know.
So she's employed still by the Shire till her annual leave runs out.
Yeah, but on her absence, who is acting on her role?
Okay, that's a separate question.
Louise Harris.
No, it's the same question. I say who is acting on the role in the same question, yeah.
Her name is Louise Harris.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. No, I just want to know if someone is acting. Yeah, I don't want to know the name, but all good. Second question. As per the list of payment, it appears that a water car hire contractor was paid a total of $190,000, $908.75 over a period of October and March, which is roughly about 5 months. The payments appear to be on the creditor payment list under 2 different names. Could you please clarify whether these payments relate to the same supplier? And if so, why multiple creditor names has been used for the same supplier? In addition, could you please provide an explanation how the procurement was undertaken, noting that the local expenditure exceeded the threshold specifying the purchasing policy, and whether the local contractors were invited to quote, considering that we have multiple water car business in town, and if it's not, the reason why services were not sourced locally in line with the purchasing policy principles and supporting local businesses.
So these payments are to multiple suppliers, and multiple quotations were sought from suppliers, including local suppliers.
This payment, the $190,000, I'm talking about a specific supplier on the same name and different, one is called G.R. Thompson and the other one is called Tamara Thompson, and it's for the same specific water car hire, $199,000.
Yeah, there was a previous part in the question. Can we go back, scroll up to the question again? Professor, can we just go to the start of Mr. Lemass's question? So, whether they were the same supplier, do we have an answer to that, CEO?
They are not the same supplier. They are 2 different suppliers, 2 different ABNs, 2 different businesses.
Okay.
So they're 2 different suppliers with the same last name?
Correct.
Okay.
I think you've had 2 questions.
No, but within the same question, I asked why it hasn't been sourced locally when we go multiple business and earth moving company within the Shire, and if the procurement process, how it was done.
Well, we're not, we're not obliged to use local companies. Quotations were sought for suppliers, including local suppliers, and I gather that the the quotations for the deciding factor.
Okay, thank you.
I think we're back to Mrs. Ruthven. Yeah.
In the absence of the CEO, what is happening with the recruitment for the two vacant executive manager positions and the emergency management officer position?
Well, in the absence of the CEO, we have an acting CEO, and
The recruitment process is continuing.
In the annual budget, which Council adopted, including values for the sale or disposal of several properties. The sale prices for two of these properties, the Bendigo Bank Building and Connors Cottage, together were $742,000 less than what Council budgeted to receive. Why did this Council accept sale prices for these two properties, which together yielded $750,000 less than what was adopted in the budget to receive?
CEO.
Council didn't budget to receive the amounts that you've referred to. Council received what was budgeted to be received for the sale of those properties.
In the special meeting last
I think
week,
that you've had two questions. And the time allotted for public question time has elapsed. So,
right, are you aware of Admin
sorry,
Reg
Councillor.
7.3, which says each member of the public who wishes to ask a question in a meeting referred to in Regulation 6.1 is to be given an equal and fair opportunity to ask the question and receive a response?
I'm not going to debate with you, Mrs. Ruthven.
It wasn't a debate,
It's
that was a
Mrs. Ruthven,
question.
listen to the answer, please. And you're not entitled to an answer, but I will give you one.
It was a question.
I will give you an answer. Please don't interrupt the meeting again. There are 4 people that have had wish to ask questions. Each person that wished to ask a question has been given a chance to ask a question. And the time for public question time allotted, 15 minutes, has elapsed. So please resume your seat. Please, I remind people in the gallery they're not to discuss, talk, argue, whisper, or interrupt the meeting in any way. If you keep talking, I'm going to have to stop the meeting, adjourn the meeting until you stop talking and interrupting the meeting. I have no choice. Oh, I'm sorry. That's actually the law. I have no choice in which parts of the law I do or don't apply. Do we have any approved leave of absences? No applications? So,
Yes, you do have an
Oh,
application.
Councillor Madachi, you've got one, haven't you? Yeah, so Councillor
Yes, I
Madachi has asked for a leave of absence from Councillor Madachi from the 25th of May 2026 to the 8th of June 2026 inclusive. Be granted. So do I have a mover for that? Councillor Deval. Do I have a seconder? Councillor van der Heyden. Do I have any objections? No. Thank you. So I'll declare that carried. Item 6 is the confirmation of the minutes, the officer's recommendation. I have a revised officer's recommendation. So there's a revised officer's recommendation that the unconfirmed minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 2nd of April 2026 be confirmed, subject to the removal of resolution OCM 059/04/26 and the inclusion of the following sentence. The above resolution has been removed as Councillor Devell did not move her notice of motion and had not been seconded. Thus, Standing Orders 9.15 did not apply.
Can I raise a point of order, presiding member? Can I confirm, I'm pretty sure I put an alternative motion in for this one, and it doesn't seem to be in the running sheet. If I could just clarify with administration that that was received.
Did you receive that? Yes. Yeah. I'm not sure that it's appropriate for confirmation of minutes to have an alternative resolution. I don't know what you think, CEO.
Either way, I tabled an alternative motion, but
So
it's
say, would
hasn't
you?
been...
Okay, we'll read it out now for the sake of the minutes.
I haven't got it here. I expected it to be in the running sheet.
Let me just ask, is there a mover for these minutes?
I'll move it.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. Is there a seconder? Okay. In that case, that
Excuse me, can I just clarify? Am I moving the amended minutes as you read out?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
So is there a seconder? I'll declare that failed for want of a seconder. We've had a question. The next item is the officer's recommendation regarding the special meeting of council minutes. And the officer's recommendation is that the unconfirmed minutes of the special council meeting held on the 30th of April 2026 be confirmed. And I'm aware that, that Mrs Ruthven asked a question that you took on notice, CEO, is that correct?
That's correct.
So do I have a mover for this? Councillor Devell?
I'll move it because I've just checked the unconfirmed minutes on the Shire's website,
Yeah.
and it shows that it was carried 7-0.
So Mrs Ruthven's question was why it needed an absolute majority, was it not? Her question?
Yeah. But I'm looking at on the website now, special council meeting dated the 30th of April.
Yeah.
And the motion was moved by Councillor Mills, seconded by Councillor Prater, that council receives the monthly financial statements for February 2026, and it was a unanimous.
And that was the only motion at that meeting?
Yep.
So that must be the motion Mrs Ruthven had been referring to?
So I'm comfortable moving.
So
that
do I have a mover for this item?
Yep.
Moved Councillor Devell, a seconder?
Excuse me, can I have a question? Does the minutes as written, the vote as recorded, is that consistent with the video recording?
Well, I haven't checked that because it was only just brought to our attention at this meeting.
Just it may be a typo, and the actual recording is as Mrs Ruthven raised.
So how can Councillor Madachi, how many people were at that meeting?
Look, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
I think were you online for that one?
Yes, I was.
So
Yes.
I think all councillors were present.
Yeah.
Did any councillor here vote against that? From memory, I don't think so. No. So, and the minutes are the record of the meeting, not the recording. So the minutes have been moved by Councillor Devell. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Prater. Do I have any objections? I'll declare that carried. Now, we just get on to something a bit more interesting. We have a presentation to be from Mr. Wayne Clark. I don't know all your first names, ladies. So, from Mr. Clark, Ms. Phillips, and Ms. Adams, from the Julimar Conservation and Forest Alliance, who wish to present council with a gift. So, I don't know who's going to do the talking there. Okay, thank you. If you come forward. Thanks, ladies.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Lynn Phillips, and I'm here with Melissa and Wayne. We belong to a group called Julimar Conservation and Forest Alliance, and we're a subsidiary of the 2J Nats Naturalist Club. We're here to present a beautiful glossy magazine to you all, just to let you know that we got together about 3 years ago because we realised that Julimar State Forest was under threat from all sorts of and we've been putting forward petitions and things to the state government, parliament, and trying to get Julimar State Forest converted into a national park so that it would get a lot more protection from these threats that we recognised. Melissa's here with, she's going to talk about the policy because she played a huge part in getting it together, and then we'll...
Very much, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so as Lynn said, we produced this at stakeholders or people like yourselves to have something like this as for your own resource, I guess. And this is a proposal to change forest to a national park, but it also has a lot of great information in here about not only the threats, but about the value and the biodiversity, all the animals that reside there, all the vulnerable species like the woylie and the tootie. We're hoping that you'll get some value out of this if you have a chance to go through it and read it. Obviously, 2J has a lot of bushland. It's, you know, in the wheat belt it has the biggest bush remnants out of all that bushland. So there's only 5, unfortunately. It's not 1 each. But I'm sure you'll share them.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah. Yeah. Can we, councillors, can we make sure that we get one to put to the library and for posterity, if you like? Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Councillor McCormick. Thanks, ladies. As one who's spent many hours in the Julimar forest stopping it from burning down, I appreciate your endeavours. Thank you. And Wayne. Thank you, Wayne.
That's fine.
Don't feel obliged to stay for any of the rest of the meeting. You can, if you wish to leave, don't be embarrassed to leave. Thank you. So thanks, people. That's great. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yes.
From Commonwealth and state over the years.
Mm.
Amounting to 368,000, and that's only about a quarter of what we've got. I've got to go back through all the records to find the rest.
thanks, Wayne. I know your record keeping is meticulous, so thanks for that. Yeah. 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 Hang on to that. Yeah. The next item on the agenda is any business from the previous meeting if adjourned, which there isn't. Item 9 is announcements by the presiding member. I won't go through a list of the events or meetings I've attended in the last month, but I'll do that, I'll add that to next month's list. But I would like to recognise 3 events that have occurred in the last month that have been significant in the Shire, not the least of which was the Moondine Festival on Sunday last, which was attended by, it must have been, I don't think I'm exaggerating, there must have been 4,000 or 5,000 people at that event. The place was jumping, and congratulations must go, and thanks to Mr. Neville Hoypoy and his committee for getting that event organised. And I didn't see anybody there that wasn't enjoying it. It was a great day. The other general local community event was the Lions Club auction, which was held on the 14th, I think, at the showgrounds. So John Pearce and the Lions Club organised that one, and it raised, I think, somewhere close to $15,000 that was available to be distributed to local community groups. It's a long-running event and another terrific day. And I'll come now to Anzac Day. We had the dawn service and the 11 o'clock service. The dawn service, the estimated numbers there were somewhere between 500 and 600. There was a big crowd at the dawn service, and that was followed up by the gunfire breakfast, which I think the Lions Club was involved in as well, in cooking that. And then the 11 o'clock service attracted another good crowd as well. So congratulations to the RSL and to the Lions Club who helped with that one. And one feature of Anzac Day, the 11 o'clock service and the Moondine Festival was the appearance at both those events of the 2J District High School Choir, and they, at the Anzac Day, they were held up slightly while we had to wait for a train to go past. But an excellent performance at Anzac Day, and an excellent performance and a really well-received performance at the Moondine Festival from the 2J District High School's choir. So congratulations, and from the school cadets who also attended Anzac Day. So congratulations to Sharon Anderson and Doug McGee for establishing the choir and the school, the cadets corps. It's been very well done. So we'll move now to the officers' reports. And the first one is 10.1.1, consent to advertise revised local planning policy 13, non-habitable structures. And there's a revised officer's recommendation.
Can I call a point of order?
Yes,
Presiding
Councillor.
Member? This item we had received yesterday, another document.
So councillors had received that?
Councillors had received that, and I believe it breaches the Local Government Administration Regulations of 1996, Regulation 14, which states in short that if there is any papers, agenda or other documents, the public must have access to that at the same time as councillors, and that didn't happen. It wasn't on the website. So I believe it breaches that regulation, and so we can't receive this, we can't table this revised document. And to that regard, I'd like to move a procedural motion of 10.5C that we move to the next item of business.
Through the chair, I think that's the appropriate way to deal with this item.
Thank you. So we have a mover to move to the next item of business, seconded Councillor Prater. Any objections? Okay, so we'll move to the next item of business, which is 10.1.2, an outbuilding at 325 Hall Road, New Nile. The officer's recommendation is that council approves an application for an outbuilding at 325 Hall Road, New Nile, with a ridge height of 7.1 metres wall height, 5.3, and a floor space, a floor area, might be better, of 301 square metres. Do I have a mover for that? Councillor McCormick. Do I have a seconder? Oh, Councillor van der Heyden. Do I have any objections? Declare that carried. Item 10.1.3, officer's recommendation being that this is adoption of local planning policy 2, ancillary accommodation. The recommendation being that council receives the table of submissions as presented, attachment 3, and adopt the final ancillary dwellings policy number 2, attachment 4, into the Shire suite of policy documents. Do I have a mover for this? Councillor Mills. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Prater. Do I have any objections? Councillor Deval. Would you like to speak in favour, Councillor Mills?
Not at this time, thank you.
Would you just like to speak against Councillor Deval?
Yep. I'm speaking against adopting this policy in its current form because I believe that we should further consider the submissions put in by a group of residents in regard to the rural clauses and issues around that for working broadacre farms. The other reason I'm speaking against this motion to adopt it at this point in time is that I strongly disagree with the referencing and definitions of group dwellings in clause 1.6, and in fact there is written into the proposed policy that there is no proportionality test for group dwellings, and I believe that that it's not suitable for. I think it needs to be rewritten, that clause, because we do have smaller dwellings in 2J, and given the reasoning behind 1.6 is that it states in the policy that some small houses and ancillary would be deemed a de facto group dwelling, and I don't think the term de facto is appropriate. The policy also says that there are solid grounds for refusal under the policy, and I disagree with that statement. And I think that that can have consequences for, circumstances where people want two smaller homes. So you might have an existing historic old home. A lot of the homes are old and small. My original family home was probably only 120 odd square metres on a rural block, and this would negate, this clause would negate an auxiliary accommodation, sort of being anywhere near that. So, for that reason I'm objecting to this policy in its current form.
Would you like to speak in favour, Councillor Prater?
Probably just clarification, if I can, just through the chair to the planning, on the concerns what Councillor Deval just brought up there. Would there be any variation on or recourse where it could come to council if it did affect the size? If I understand what you're saying, if the original properties, say, 120 square metres, it doesn't leave the next one to be, you know, it's obviously going to be, it's going to be pretty small. Is there any variation there that council could say, well, yes, you could go a bit bigger?
Yeah, Exec Manager, yeah.
Through the chair. Of course, with any policy and a variation to the policy, that can be brought to council for variation. The risk to council is approving two dwellings on a property of a similar size in breach of the Planning and Development Act regulations, where it clearly states that two dwellings on a property of similar size would be considered to be a group dwelling. If it would give confidence, we can get this referred through McLeod's lawyers, who act on behalf of local governments, to confirm that these provisions we're proposing are or are not viable.
Officer's suggestion.
I think it's appropriate that if there are questions around that, that we do get external advice on that matter.
Okay. In which case, I will propose that we move to the next item of business. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Deval. Do I have any objections? Okay, declare that carried. Item, and we'll leave that with you, see. Yeah. Item 10.1.4, temporary shipping container at 10 Deepdale Road, West 2J. And there's a revised officer's recommendation that council approves the application received for the placement of a temporary shipping container at 10 Deepdale Road, West 2J, with the following setback concessions. I think that should just say the following setbacks. Street 20 metres, rear 44 metres, or sides 9 metres and 81 metres. I think that needs to be clearer. Which side's which? Acting, Exec Manager?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it says sides 9 metres and 81 metres. Which side is which side?
As per the sketch included into the report, the short side is to the north and the long side is to the south.
Okay, so 9 metres from the north and 81 metres from the south. So could we put that in there somewhere? So,
Can I call a point of order?
yes,
on this
Councillor.
item? I don't think council can consider this item because an office, which is what the applicant in their application, they're applying for works and use, which is an office and storage within a sea container. But under this zoning, an office, unless it's a home office, which has strict requirements to be within the residence, is an ex-use in the planning scheme. And we have no discretion on ex-uses under the planning scheme, whether they're for a temporary amount of time or not. And so I just, given that this is quasi-judicial, it's a legal decision we're making, I don't think we can consider this item.
I need a bit of advice on whether we should proceed to consider it and take that as an objection, or if that's adequate. CEO?
I think council can either approve it or not approve it.
I think that might be the case, in which case that will be an argument during debate. Your argument
I'd
would
like
be,
to
your
move-
argument would be that to do so would be illegal. We could do that during debate.
I don't think we can consider it because we don't have discretion for an ex-use under the planning scheme.
That would only matter if we did approve it.
Well, yes, but I don't know that we consider it. I think
I
we're
take
on...
your point.
Hey?
I take your point.
Yeah.
Perhaps somebody could ask a question. I'll ask a question then. If the planning scheme has office as an X, how can we approve this? Exec Manager.
Through the chair, this proposed use does not meet the definitions of office in the scheme text. The use of office in the scheme text refers to commercial use of operating a business or for conducting a business. This is actually a request to approve a sea container where somebody is placing a desk in the sea container to be able to conduct internet access for the purposes of conducting their own work at home.
I have a question.
Hang on. Councillor McCormick?
My question is this sea container, as defined in this report, part of a commercial business on a residential block?
From my interpretation of the scheme, no.
I'm not worried about what the scheme says. What does the applicant say?
The applicant is looking for a sea container for the purposes of storage and the ability to have a desk to allow for remote access to his job.
I'll repeat the question. Is this application attached to a commercial business at a residential property?
Insofar the application is written, the employee works for a commercial business. This is the place he lives when he chooses to have his office desk sitting in the sea container.
Can I ask a question? The application states a description of proposed works and/or land use is sea container to be placed on site as a temporary arrangement for office and storage. So they are applying, and they have applied for works and use, which office is a land usage. So they are applying for both storage and office. How can there be any doubt about that? That's my question.
Don't want any more debate between the...
No, I'm asking.
No, I'm asking.
How can that be any more?
Hey, well, you can try and explain that if you like.
I'll pass on that. And put
May
that
I
on
ask you a question, please?
Yes, Councillor Madachi, yeah.
The term is a little bit difficult because the term office, I refer to my home office as an office and I'm not running a business. So if you're using an office simply to access your workplace and it's not your registered place of business, then I can't see that it applies. But I don't know what clarity we have on that.
Bear with me a moment.
Sorry, Mr. President, can I ask a question?
Yeah, well, that's, the exec manager's just going to grab the planning scheme for us. Do you have a question, councillor Mills?
It's more of an observation of their application that they submitted to the Shire was prepared by Chris Wallace, and in their proposal it states that will be relocated to 10 Deepdale as of office and storage facilities for business needs.
It says that, does it?
That's correct, in their proposal.
Yes.
Councillor Van der Heyden?
I was going to ask the same thing around, it explicitly says that CRISP has the lease on the property. So is the business leasing this property?
Okay. I'll wait for the exec to come back.
I've got one further question to that.
Yeah, councillor, yeah.
We're assuming, when I say assuming, we are saying that council doesn't have the ability to override an ex-use in Western Australia for a planning development application. Where is that regulation? Where is that actually stated? Is that within our own planning scheme only, or?
Local Planning Scheme number 5. And the Planning and Development Act. It's an ex-use. It's an ex. You can't do it.
I know. I'm not arguing the ex-use. I am questioning whether or not council has the right to override or approve or refuse a ex-use in a development application.
No.
So could somebody point me to the relevant legislation, relevant clause or rule, regulation, whatever it comes under, please?
It comes under as far as I know, it just comes under the Local Planning Scheme. It's X as an X.
Yes, but that doesn't say whether council has a discretionary role in this.
X means that the use is not permitted by this scheme. That's what the scheme says.
Okay, thank you. And that's my understanding. I'm just seeking.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I appreciate your point, councillor. While you were out, exec manager, councillor Van der Heyden and councillor Mills, can you just point out what you pointed out to us while the exec manager was away?
Yeah, certainly. The application, or the report that they created was created or prepared by Chris Wallace themselves. In the first paragraph, the last line effectively said that it is proposed it would be relocated, the sea container, to Deepdale Road as an office storage facility for business needs.
Okay, that's pretty clear.
And my
Councillor Van der Heyden, yes?
My point was, it literally says in the third paragraph of that page, CRISP has a lease on this property. The business has a lease. Is that a business that's... Do they actually have the lease on this property as a business?
Sorry, through the chair, that's not actually a valid planning consideration, the owner of the property or the lessee of the property. However, the company has certified to us that this is for the housing of an employee who has moved to this area.
Unfortunately, what they've said in their application is, say it again, councillor Mills.
Yes, proposed it be relocated to Deepdale Road as an office storage facility for the business needs.
Seems pretty clear to me.
Container, not the house.
Yeah, the sea container, yeah, for business needs.
Yes. Related to the rest of the house, is whether that was used by the company.
No, that wasn't a question. No one asked that.
Yeah, sorry. You clarify for me that my question was whether it was a business that controlled the property or not, but the point is around the sea container.
I think if we have a we need to make a decision, it being a planning application. Is that right, CEO? Do we have to make a decision?
Through the chair, you can defer the decision, seeking further clarification. If you
Do we need further clarification? Do you? I don't know. So I don't think we do, but
the application is fairly clear about what the proposed use is.
Councillor Prater, we can start. We can move to debate if you like. That might be easier. Or do you wish to ask a question?
No, I think it's, well, I'm not going to debate.
Okay, so
I'd like to propose a procedural motion.
which is?
Move to the next item of business.
Yeah, I'm
10.5.
inclined not to do that, but because we haven't determined the application if we do that.
My
I'd like-
original point was I don't think we can because it's an ex-use. We have no discretion in it. So I don't see that we can consider it.
Gentlemen, please.
So, through the chair, if no decision is made, then it will be a deemed refusal.
Same as if we voted it down. Okay. So you've moved that we move to the next item of business?
Yes,
You
I
proposed
did.
that?
Yeah.
You've moved that? Is there a seconder for that? To move to the next item of business? Councillor McCormick, are there any objections to that? Okay, I'll declare that carried. Item 10.1.5, development application for extractive industry, 826 Clackline 2J Road, Hoddeswell. The officer's recommendation is, it's one of these long recommendations. Would you like to, I will ask the exec manager to read the recommendation for us.
The officer's recommendation is that Council approve the development application for industry extractive land use at Lot 3, number 826 Clackline 2J Road, Hoddeswell, submitted by Venice Proprietary Limited, the applicant, subject to the following development conditions. The development hereby permitted must substantially commence within 2 years from the date of this approval letter. B, the development approval is granted for an unlimited period. However, the associated management plan for the extractive industry is time limited and shall not exceed 10 years from the date of this approval. C, the development hereby is permitted to take place in accordance with approved drawings and management plans stamped and dated 14th of the 4th, 2026. D, the development shall be carried out in accordance with the approved bushfire management plan, brackets, BMP 13225-26, close brackets, dated 20th of January 2026. E, the excavation area shall be progressively rehabilitated and fully rehabilitated upon the completion of the approved development period in accordance with section 10.6 Rehabilitation Management Plan from the approved quarry management plan to the satisfaction of the Shire as stamped and dated 14th of April 2026. F, extraction activities shall be confined to the approved 2 hectare extraction area only as depicted on the management plan and shall not extend beyond the existing disturbed pit area. G, the average depth of the extraction shall not exceed 3 metres below the natural ground level as depicted on the management plan. H, dust suppression measures shall be implemented and maintained in accordance with the approved dust management section of the quarry management plan. I, the noise generated by the development is not to exceed the levels as set out under the Environmental Protection Act of 1986 and the Environmental Protection Noise Regulations of 1997. J. Extractive industry operations shall occur only between 6:30 a.m. and 5:30 p.m, Monday to Saturday, excluding public holidays, and any days as determined as scheduled events by the Shire. Truck movements associated with this development shall be restricted to between 7 a.m. and 5:30 p.m, Monday to Friday, and 7 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Saturdays, with no truck movements permitted on Sundays, public holidays, or during Shire-designated event days. K. All blasting activities shall only be undertaken following the receipt of all relevant approvals from the Shire of 2J and the Department of Mines, Industry and Regulation and Safety, DMIRS. Such activities shall be carried out by appropriately licensed personnel and in accordance with the approved Explosives Management Plan as stamped and dated 14th of the 4th, 2026. L. Prior to the commencement of extractive operations, the applicant shall pay a road contribution to the Shire of 2J, calculated in accordance with the Walga Road Wear Cost Calculator, to the satisfaction of the Shire. M. All trucks associated with the development shall ensure loads are covered to prevent material spillage and dust.
Thank you. Do I have a mover? Councillor Duval. Do I have a seconder?
Yes.
Councillor Madachi, you okay for
Yes, I'll move it.
Oh, you'll move it. Councillor Duval, you'll second it? Thank you. Are there any objections? Thank you, everyone. I'll declare that carried. Item 10.1.6, outbuilding at 13 Arthur Street, 2J. Officer's recommendation being that council approves the erection of an outbuilding at 13 Arthur Street, 2J. Do you have a mover for that? Councillor van der Heyden, a seconder. Councillor Prater. Do I have any objections? I'll declare that one carried. Item 10.2.1, list of payments for March 2026. The recommendation being that council receives the list of, it should be payments, as presented and listed below for the month of March 2026. Municipal cheques, 0. That may be the first time I've seen that, CEO.
Through the chair, we are phasing out the use of cheques.
I think it might be an historical day in the history of, in the history of money. Electronic funds transfer payments, $1,718,628. Payroll, $270,891. Credit cards, $6,882. And other, including direct debits, $134,746 for an impressive $2,131,149. Do I have a mover? Councillor Prater. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Mills. Do I have any objections? Declare that carried. Item 10.3.1 refers to the community funding program for 25-26 and the outcomes of that program. The officer's recommendation is that council notes the community outcomes from initiatives funded through the 25-26 community funding program. So this is an item of information only. Do I have a mover? Councillor van der Heyden. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Mills. Declare that carried. Item 10.4.1. The title is Making the Amended Activities in Thoroughfares and Public Places and Trading Local Law. I'll read this one. Council, pursuant to the provisions of section 3.12 brackets 3 brackets A of the Local Government Act 1995, the recommendation is that council gives local public notice stating it proposes to make the Shire of 2J activities in thoroughfares and public places and trading local law 2026, the purpose and effect of which are to regulate the use of thoroughfares, public places and local government property in order to promote public safety, manage obstructions, protect the natural environment, ensure fair and orderly trading and provide clear standards for activities such as verge treatments, signage, street trading, outdoor eating facilities, and other uses of public land within the Shire of 2J. The effect of all this being to provide a legal framework that prescribes the activities that require a permit, sets conditions under which those activities may be conducted, regulates trading events and signage in public places, manages vegetation, fire breaks, environmental protection and activities that may impact thoroughfares, establishes offences for non-compliance, including prescribed modified penalties, and enables the Shire to issue notices and take enforcement action to protect public health, amenity, safety and environmental values. So this is a motion for public notice and inviting, I guess, submissions. Is that correct? So do I have a mover?
Can I just ask a question?
You may.
Thank you. There's no attachment in the attachments for this item. There's no attachment in the meeting attachments for this item. It was in for the forum attachments, but there's nothing in this meeting's attachments.
What report was that, sorry?
10.4.1.
10.4.1, making the amended activities and thoroughfares in public places and trading local law. And this is making the law, not, is it?
So there were supposed to be 3 attachments. Were there any attachments?
No. Not in the hard copies. I haven't checked the electronic copies.
I'm looking at a printed out copy of the attachments for the 7th of May, and the one that the local law that's got track changes begins on page 301. So I don't understand why it's not in the online version, because it should be.
No, I think
No, it's not in.
But I'm looking at the printed version. It's right in front of me.
No, I've got a
That's why
printed
I'm saying
version.
301.
It's not in my printed version either.
No, maybe there's something wrong with your attachments packet. Does it miss pages?
It's got the reason you can't find it, councillor, is it's on page 301 listed as item 10.1.2 in the attachments.
Okay, so it's not. Okay, so it's not referencing.
It's just so.
Oh, the numbering is wrong. It's 10.4.2.
Yeah, so it is there in the. Was that all you had, councillor?
It's just an error on the footer.
It's just
Okay,
an error in the printing we've been given, and it may need amending for the minutes.
Okay, so if you could bear.
When the minutes are published, the minute attachments go with it. So that will
they do, yeah.
definitely be corrected with the minute attachments.
Councillor, you had something else to say?
I had another question because I need to check something. So in the attachments, which attachment number is the one we're voting on, please? Because there's no footers on here.
Sorry, the one that I've got is, well, it says 10.1.2, but it's supposed to say 10.4.2.
Yes, but which attachment number for that item, whether they're numbered differently or not, are we voting on, please?
The resolution doesn't refer to an attachment.
No, it doesn't, and I don't know what the officer's report says. So it's attachment number 2, which has got the track changes in it? Yeah. thank you.
Through the chair, if
Yeah.
I can just
Yes,
also make a
CEO.
comment. The name of the old local law is different to the name of the proposed local law.
Yeah, it's fine, because we quite often get a track change one and then a final copy. So I just wanted to check which attachment number we were voting on. So if it's attachment number 2, even though it's labelled 10...
Voting on any attachment. We're voting on the Shire of 2J activities and thoroughfares and public places and trading local law 2026.
That's right, but I wanted to know I need to know what attachment number that local law is that we're voting on.
Well, the one that says it's Shire of 2J activities in thoroughfares and public places and trading local law 2026.
Okay.
Can you see that, councillor? The one that actually says 2026 on it.
Yeah, I've got it here, but... Okay, what page is that?
301.
Okay, so my page 301 is totally, it hasn't got...
No, my page 301 clearly says 2026 on it.
Yeah, but yours has got... Okay, that's different.
So that,
Okay, I've got that.
Yeah.
What I wanted to check was the definition
oh,
of
okay.
thoroughfare, which is all of
Okay,
them.
yeah, thank you. Go ahead, yeah.
Okay, I found that one. Okay. All right, that's all I wanted to check. I'm all good, thank you.
Have we got there? Thanks,
Oh, we'll
thanks,
get there.
councillor.
Oh, didn't sort of help that they were out of order.
Yeah, no, that didn't help, I agree. So, I've asked for a mover, but I don't think I got one, so
I'm happy to move that now.
thanks, councillor, after that. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Prater? Do I have any objections? I'll declare that carried. Item 10.4.2. This is an Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee meeting frequency review and annual work plan requirements item. This is actually a recommendation coming to us from the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee. For some reason, we have an officer's recommendation as well, which I don't think we need. We have so I'm going to have to ask for some advice here, CEO. We've got a...
Excuse me.
Yes, go on, Councillor.
Councillor McEwen, I need to leave the room for a few minutes.
Thanks, Councillor. 6:49, thank you. Yep. So, Acting CEO, why have we got an officer's recommendation to when we've had a committee recommendation?
We've got an officer's recommendation because I had to look at the governance and the risk implications of the other framework that had been provided. Now, admittedly, when and that's all I'll say.
So through the chair, the council can choose either the officer's recommendation or the recommendation from the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee. The choice is yours.
I'd like to move the Audit and Risk Committee meeting committee.
Establish a more basic fact than that at the moment,
Okay.
if you wouldn't mind. This is a committee report, and I don't see why we need at all an officer's report that's alternative to the committee report. The committee is to report on its activities, and the committee, this is in the Standing Orders, the committee is to prepare a report containing recommendations and submit it to the council. So why do the officers intervene in that process?
The officers have submitted an alternative recommendation based on governance principles, and in any committee report, the officers can submit an alternative recommendation. It is up to council as to whether or not you choose to accept that recommendation as the alternative or to accept the committee recommendation.
Does somebody wish to move something here?
I'd like to
Councillor DeVal.
move the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee's recommendation with an amendment.
Should you go ahead with reading that?
The amendment?
No, the whole thing.
The whole thing? Roger. That council approves the change in the Audit and Risk Improvement Committee meeting frequency from quarterly to monthly for the remainder of the 2026 calendar year. Sets the meeting dates for the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee for 2026 with a starting time of 10:30 a.m. as follows: 9th of April 2026, 14th of May 2026, 11th of June 2026, 9th of July 2026, 13th of August 2026, 10th of September 2026, 8th of October 2026, 12th of November 2026 and the 10th of December 2026. Notes that the reporting framework has been developed in accordance with section 2.5 of the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee Charter, which requires the committee to prepare an annual work plan.
Point of order.
When it...
Point of order to the Chair. The proposed recommendation is my understanding, is to the AREC recommendation. And if that's so, that is not possible. It is from the AREC the AREC recommendation is a motion carried by the ARC. So that any alteration to that motion needs to come from the ARC. We cannot change their recommendation. We can make an alternate recommendation on an officer's report, but we can't change the actual recommendation. We can only support it or refuse it.
CEO, you wish to make a comment?
Through the chair, yes, I agree with that. The council can either accept or not accept the committee recommendation or offer an alternative recommendation.
Oh, I don't think so.
Council,
No, can't offer.
Go ahead, Rosemary. Councillor Madachi.
My understanding is you can't offer an alternate recommendation to the AREC recommendation. You can only make an independent decision whether or not you're going to accept it or not. It's been done by a committee and voted by that committee.
Okay, I got that. That's why I asked why the officers were allowed to do that.
They've put in a recommendation which I would question, to be quite frank, because we should be only receiving the report from AREC and making a decision on their recommendation one way or the other.
Can I make a statement? I'm just trying to find it. My understanding is that committee can adopt a recommendation as it is with amendment or alternative, I just can't find where that's written, but also to provide that I'm not changing.
So you mean council there?
Sorry?
Council can do that?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm not changing I am talking about an amendment, but I'm not just to explain to the meeting that I'm not suggesting changing anything that the Audit and Risk Committee have recommended. I'm actually adding to it. And I would consider it an amendment because it's not substantially changing the recommendation.
Point,
Peter, you wish to say something?
yeah, point, well, I don't believe you can change add to the committee's recommendation. It's, you know.
It's the advice we've had from the CEO
Yeah,
that we
I
have to keep
can't.
it. I still don't understand how the officers can make a different recommendation to the one from the ARIC committee when this is a report of a committee. You can try, yeah.
Okay, I actually got legal advice before I simplified this report, and the legal advice from the department and also from the Local Government Inspectorate's office was that I was quite within my rights to actually assess ARIC's recommendation to council and give a governance perspective on its, whether it's going to actually comply with the charter, because the charter actually says annual work plan, but that was called what's it called again? Reporting framework, which a reporting framework usually is operational and it sits within the governance framework. You know how the governance framework is set up it's not just the governance framework. The governance framework is like an umbrella and there's all these other little frameworks that sit underneath it. That's where a reporting framework would be part of the operational management. But the advice I got from the department, from James McGovern today.
Oh, hang on. So you got that today?
I got advice today.
Well, we'll have to stop you there.
And I got advice
I'll have to stop you
at
there.
other places that I could do
No,
it.
I'll have to stop you. So we're considering a motion and a recommendation, and now we're told at 6:58 p.m. that there's some legal advice being obtained that we haven't seen before. I need to think for a minute.
Can I suggest a short adjournment?
Yeah, I'll propose an adjournment from now till 7:05. I've moved that. Do I have a second to Councillor DeVal? Any objections? So we're back live. Councillor DeVal, you wish to move a motion?
Yes, I will move the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee's recommendation as the motion. As it is, no changes, no amendments.
Okay, do I have a seconder? Councillor Prater. Do I have any objections?
Yes, I object.
Okay. Do you wish to speak in favour, Councillor DeVal?
Yes, I do. I think, yeah, it's the Audit and Risk Committee. It's coming from that committee with the due process from that committee, and I think that we need to accept it. It's moving towards a more proactive ARIC, and I think we should support it.
Councillor Madachi, your turn.
Well, I largely agree with what Councillor DeVal has said. I like the fact that the ARIC has become more proactive and what they are attempting to achieve. I do have some concerns with the reporting framework.
Would you like to elaborate on the concerns?
No, they're just bits and pieces, too much to go through on the meeting.
Okay. Councillor Prater, do you wish to speak in favour? Anybody else wish to speak against? Do you wish to speak in favour or against?
I do have a question just
Yes.
about...
Councillor
from
van
a
der
pro-
Heyden, yeah.
From a process perspective, if I wanted to propose an alternate motion here, is that too late now? No. Well, as a no, I can't.
So, any other for or against? Councillor Mills?
This is for just the wording. I think everyone's stuck on the wording of reporting framework. There's no legislative definition for it. So it's just meaning that someone's putting the definition on that for this particular purpose. So the reporting framework definition by ARIC is what reports and when. That's all.
Understand.
Rebuttal, Councillor DeVal? No. Okay, I'll put it to the vote. All those in favour of the Audit and Risk Committee recommendation? Councillor Prater, Councillor Mills, Councillor McCormick, Councillor DeVal, Councillor McEwen, and those against? Councillor Madachi and Councillor van der Heyden. So I declare that carried. Item 10.4.3, appointment of, do we have to do this? As Deputy, the Chairman, is it? Do we need to do this? Deputy Chairperson, we do. Appointment of Deputy Chairperson for the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee, and it becomes self-explanatory. The officer's recommendation being that Council notes the resignation of former Deputy Presiding Member, Mr S. Rutter of the Audit and Risk and Improvement Committee, and appoints Ms Kay Barak as Deputy Presiding Member of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee for the Shire of 2J, effective immediately, and authorises the Acting CEO to seek expressions of interest from the community to fill the vacant independent community member position of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee in accordance with the committee charter. Do I have a mover? Councillor McCormick. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Mills. Do I have any objections? I'll declare that carried. Tuja Agricultural Society sponsorship agreement. I think there's a revised officer's recommendation.
I'd like to call a point of order.
Yeah, I thought you might, Councillor. Would you like to go ahead with your point of order?
Absolutely. We received an updated document of the proposed sponsorship agreement this afternoon. I don't believe it went onto the website for the public at the same time, so it breaches Regulation 14. And because there is some quite material difference in the very short time I had to look at it, I don't think we can consider it tonight, so I propose a procedural motion under 10.5C to move to the next item.
moved that. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Prater, so move to this next item of business. Do I have any objections? I'll declare that carried. Item 10.4.5, the monthly financial statements for March 2026. The officer's recommendation being that Council receives the monthly financial statements for March 2026, attachment 1. And that is, do I have a mover? Councillor Devell. Do I have a seconder?
Sorry, Mr. President, can I just ask a question? Did we not have a special meeting of the council to accept those?
No, that was the February ones.
Well, that's February, was it?
Yeah, we caught up now.
Thank you.
Yeah, we caught up. Remember we were a little bit behind? Yeah.
I was just checking that as we're speaking. I just wanted to jump in just to make
No,
sure.
no, that's okay. Yeah, we got behind with the February ones. We caught them up and now we're on to the March ones. So we're back in the normal rotation now. Do I have a seconder? Councillor van der Heyden. Any objections? I'll declare that carried. We have no items in 11, 12. No motions for which previous notice have been given. No notices of motion for consideration at the next meeting. No questions of members of which due notice has been given. But we do have new business of an urgent nature. The first motion, the first thing to deal with is that Council considers a late item, 14.1.1, Chief Executive Officer leave as a late item of urgent business. That's the first thing to do. So do I have a mover to consider this as late? Councillor Prater? I don't think that's anywhere. Okay, that's all right. Do I have a seconder for that?
Excuse me, Councillor McEwen.
Yeah.
This late item, was that put up on the hub? Because I've not seen it nor received it.
Just checking, Councillor.
I checked the hub at 4:30, thereabouts.
See ya.
Councillor Madachi, it wasn't put on the hub, but a copy is being sent through to you now.
Lovely, thank you very much, much appreciated.
Anyway, we're just at the moment agreeing to consider it as a late item of urgent business. It's been moved and seconded. Are there any objections to that? No. That's carried.
Well, hang on, I haven't even read it.
Okay. Well, I'll adjourn the meeting for...
If you wouldn't mind,
No,
yes.
no, I think it's fair, to be fair to you, I think we need to do that, Councillor. So, and I'll give you 10 minutes.
Did you say it's just been sent through? I've not received it yet.
Okay. Oh, well, once you get it, yeah, can you just stay online for a moment? And then once you get it, we'll decide how long to adjourn for.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Councillor Madachi, if you can just give us 2 minutes just to send the report through.
Not a problem.
Propose an adjournment for, Councillor, I'll propose an adjournment for 15 minutes from now to give you a chance to look
Okay,
at
thank
it.
you very much. It won't take me long to read once I've got
So
it.
that will come back. I propose to adjourn the meeting for 15 minutes, resume the meeting at, say, 7:30 p.m. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor van der Heyden. Are there any objections? So the meeting is once again adjourned and will resume at 7:30 p.m.
Thank you.
Yeah? Okay, we're back online in the interest of efficiency a bit earlier than usual than we originally planned. So we're back online and the council meeting is resumed at 7:22 p.m. I don't think we've got past accepting this as a late item of urgent business, but it's been moved by Councillor Prater and seconded by Councillor Devell that we do that. Do I have any objections? Okay, so we will consider it as a late item of urgent business. And I now have another motion that Council considers the late item 14.1.1, Chief Executive Officer leave, as a confidential matter under section 5.23, brackets 3, brackets A, and 4, brackets 4, brackets B of the Local Government Act 1995. Do I have a mover for that motion?
I have a question.
Councillor Devell, who's got a question? So Councillor McCormick, yeah.
Is it not 15.2?
14.1.1. 15.2. Good question.
I've got a...
No, you're right. I've got 14.1.1 on one piece of paper and 15.2 on another.
It's 14.1 is the correct item number.
Yeah.
In accordance with the agenda.
So that piece of paper that you've got with 15.2 written on it should be 14.1.1. Thanks, Councillor McCormick. So we're moving to close to the public. I have a mover for that. It's Councillor Devell. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Mills. Are there any objections? Okay, so we'll declare that carried and close the meeting to the public. We there? So we're back from behind closed doors at 7:48 p.m. Stay there, councillor. And while we were close to the public, council endorsed the recommendations as detailed in the confidential report. Carried 6-1 with Councillor Prater, Councillor Mills, Councillor McCormick, Councillor Devell, Councillor van der Hayden, Councillor McEwen voting for, and Councillor Madachi voting against. The next item is also a confidential item. Item 15, if I've got the numbering correct, and the first recommendation here is that Council considers this item of confidential business and the confidential reports listed below in a meeting closed to the public in accordance with section 5.23 brackets 2 of the Local Government Act 1995. Do I have a mover to close to the public? Councillor Prater and seconded Councillor Devell. Do I have any objections? I'll declare that
No.
carried and close the meeting at 7:49 p.m. Lost my running sheet. I don't know what. I think the dog ate it. I don't know where it went. Yeah, I'll read that one out. Is that the last thing? Yeah. So are we live? Well, thank you, everybody. Welcome back to the... we've reopened to the public after considering a confidential information. We've reopened at 8:13 p.m. While we were behind closed doors, Council passed a resolution that the acting CEO obtain further information and detail about delivery and freight costs and report back to Council within 4 weeks, and that the acting CEO investigate circumstances as detailed in the financial implications of the report and report back to Council within 4 weeks. That was moved by Councillor Deval, seconded by Councillor McCormick, and carried unanimously, which brings us to the end of the meeting or towards the end of the meeting. The only next thing to advise, I guess, is that there's another OCM in June on the 4th, with an agenda briefing the week before on the 28th of May, an Audit Risk and Improvement Committee meeting on the 14th of May, a Bushfire Advisory Committee on the 11th of June, Infrastructure and Works Committee meeting on the 11th of June, and a Local Emergency Management Committee meeting on the 11th of June. Do all those things still stand? Yep. And having said that, I will declare the ordinary council meeting closed at 8:14 p.m.
Okay.